to invite to the stage one speaker for now, and that is the Jooble company founder, and that is Roman Prokofiev. Where are you, Roman? Hello, everyone. Happy to greet you all here today. At the previous panel, they spoke about books. I used to enjoy reading books about successes or like the success stories that would inspire me. But later, I realized that they are of no help to me, because every success was achieved in the certain context, and that's why it's more interesting to read not the success stories, but to take a look at mistakes made by people on their path. So today I would like to share our mistakes with you. Our company is Jooble. For the very first time, I delivered this presentation in 2019 in e-form, and it's when I was invited to deliver this presentation, I was thinking, okay, 5 years later, I guess I have to add something because something could have changed. We are an old company as of 2006, you know. We are like dinosaurs in the market. And I analyzed what we have, where we have succeeded in this for these 5 years. And I decided to actually leave this presentation without changes, because I think the mistakes that we used to make, they are the most significant in the history of our company. Not even the mistakes themselves, but the reflections that were made, you know, the judgments that were made after we have analyzed those mistakes. So let's go. Of course, 1 minute of the ad for you to know who we are. If you hear about us for the first time, Jooble company, so we had to create the company as an aggregator of the job openings, and when the visitor comes to us, we show all the links to the origin sources, so you can see all vacancies available. And you think, why do we need the aggregators? I know 1 or 2 websites where I can do the job search, but you know, in the United States they have over 30,000 of job orders, and sometimes there are maybe also could be some recruitment agencies, you know. So if you want to see all the available job openings, you do really need to do a lot of job search. We operate now in 67 countries of the world, and in the last 12 months, almost 500 million of people used our services. So that is 7% from all internet users on the earth who went and used our services. Wow. If we gather all of them in one country, that we would be third by size country after China and India. So we did probably make some conclusions and had some lessons learned. So the first lesson is that the size matters. I used to ask the audience who likes or who enjoys playing poker, and now I will ask you who understands the rules of game of the Texas poker. Okay, I see. Wonderful. I enjoy poker because it's a business simulation. So in a few hours while you're playing, you are making hundreds or even thousands of decisions. And to be successful in poker, like in business, you are to know many different disciplines, like the financial planning, psychology. You have to have the strategy of the game and the discipline to stick to that strategy. Another interesting thing, if you observe the game, you will never understand. For example, people playing for 1,000 hryvnias or for $10 million, because when you play poker, you don't see money, right? Because only at the end of the game you can see when there is the exit. They exchange chips for money, and that's when they know how much money. What is the cost of one chip? Is it 1 hryvnia or $100? And depending on that, you take the corresponding amount of money. And what's interesting is that it doesn't matter what money you're playing for, but you're always making the same decisions. You are to think about the strategy, the financial planning, and only in the end of the game, at the end of the game, you will have the understanding what money it was on the table. Why am I telling this? Because in 2006, when we only started our business together with my co-founder partner Yevhen, we live in Ukraine, so of course we started it in Ukraine, because where else? So we started our business in Ukraine. We created the website, the aggregator for the Ukrainian market. For 2 years, we were barely surviving, but we were making some money. And then the crisis of subprime began. I hope that there are people who remember 2008, when everything went down and the entire world didn't know what was happening. In a few months, no, actually, in 2 months, our income has decreased by 24 times, and we knew this was the end. I remember it was the end of December 2008. Me and Yevhen, we are walking next to Shulyavka metro station, and we were just saying that it's time to fire everyone. We had that like 15 employees. Let's leave only the administrator for half a rate. And this was our plan A. Somehow we got to plan B. We thought, okay, we still have some money left, and we did gave 2 years to this business. Let's try to go beyond the limits of Ukraine, and let's launch this business in other countries. I'm reminding you, this was 2008, a disaster all over the world, but we were thinking like there's nothing else to lose. So we decided to enter other markets, and that's what we did. We very fast realized this was a wonderful strategy, and we have launched 50 countries, and that's how we became the global company. Now I will show you some statistics. This is the level of income per one users, and this is the top 10 of the the biggest revenue per user countries. So the USA is the biggest country and the biggest level of revenue per user, then Switzerland, Netherlands, so nothing amazing. But now I will do something extra. I will add Ukraine here, because Ukraine is not here, but we have 67 countries, and I want you to be able to compare. And that's where Ukraine is. So in the US, we make 27 times more per one user than we make in Ukraine. And just like in poker, we work in the same way. We analyze the competitors the same way. We're looking for partners in the same way, looking for clients and agreeing on different integrations. So we're doing the plus or minus the same job, right? But the result is astonishing. And this is important because, especially for IT companies, for global IT companies, not to say in the end that they have made $100 million or more, but the more you make, the better people you can hire and the more competitive your product becomes. So this is not just a whim to be global and to be making a lot of money, but this is a necessity in order to be able to engage best people and to produce best products that will be competitive. These countries, they inspire me. These are small countries. Malta, where there's less than 1 million people living. Israel, Estonia, these are small countries, but they have a few companies with a capitalization over $1 billion in IT sphere, because they realized right away that their markets are so small that it's pointless to start with them. They were building up the global business right away. And this is the best possible decision. And in our history, it was the worst mistake, because we started in Ukraine and lost a lot of time. But thanks to reflection, we realized that you have to start with global business on the markets that have money. Next lesson. Most important question is what for or why? Why actually is the most important question mark, of the existence of the universe, because what for or why, everything starts with this. How to do this? AI can already answer this question, but AI cannot give you the answer why or what for, but humans do. And that's an important question. Why are you creating the business that you are creating? From our experience, but until 2014, the question why was very simple for us. It was very obvious for us, and we knew the answer: to make money. Well, that's an obvious, history for the entrepreneurs of the Eastern Europe as a cluster. Good business makes money. If it doesn't make money, it's not business. And we were making money. Everything was optimized for us, and we were very successful at it. And then we had 80 cents of revenue from $1. So the margin was 80%. This was an incredible time. But everybody knows the economy, and this cannot continue for a very long time because our competitors did not pay dividends at that moment, but they were investing in their product, and their product has become better because they were investing more in marketing. So we started losing our market positions very rapidly. We lost, by 3 times. And so together with our partner, we sat and started thinking, why do we continue doing our business? Because that was the time when we had enough money for the rest of our lives. But somehow we would still go to work and do something inspiring our team. And then we remembered why we started our business. We started our business not because we wanted to make money. Yes, it was somewhere in the background, but because we had an amazing concept, the engineering aggregator that would make people's work easier. We created something new. And that's how mission appeared in our company. We started thinking, why are we doing this? And the mission was very simple. We want to help people to find a job. That's what we were about. So what we did, we started sieving all of our decisions through our mission, whether it's helping people or not. It's not what we just say on the website, that we are corporate and we have this mission. We have a small... You could be making a lot of money easily, but when you have big audience, and we could be making $200,000 just from a small pop-up app. But I was thinking, does it help people to get job? No, but I was thinking, why do we have it then? So we either have to get rid of it or change it. So we lose the revenue, but do even worse. And this was very painful to realize, but we really truly believed this. And this is not the story of the sweet success when we say that, yes, we believed in the mission and now we produce a great product for our users, and that's why we succeeded. So here we had the drop in audience, and for 2 years nothing was happening. So all was bad. We come and say, no, we create the product for people, and no feedback from the market. Nothing like that. But we still believed. We believed in our why, and that is creating something good. And then 2 years later, we got luck. The things started getting better, and we actually observed the moment when the market responded and when we could convert our why into financial success for our company. And lesson 3 is about people, of course, people who are creating all this. In 2016, I had an experiment that you can repeat actually in your companies. I have sent the the letter stating there is a link here and you can ask an anonymous question. If you are shy to ask it directly, but you can ask them anonymously and I will provide answers in the public space. I received up to 80 or 90 questions, and 95% of them were like why the air conditioning system is so strong or who sleeps with whom. That was the trash. I was shocked. I spent the entire weekend to answer all of these questions, and I sat and started thinking, why is that? I was creating the company to create something nice and good, but judging by the questions, I realized that people are not thinking about this. And I realized why this happened. Because when in the beginning of my company, my partner and I were selecting people, we were selecting those people who were appealing to us, not because we were great psychologists, but because we did hold many interviews and we knew what our values were. And at some certain point of time, we realized, like, we would approach one of the specialists, say, so you used to be this specialist, now you will be the director of department, and go and select people. And we gave him the tool, but didn't explain how to do that. And they started using it the way they could. And so, they were conducting interviews in the way when they would just ask the interviewee to tell about their past experience. And at the moment, there is a lot of scientific data in the Laszlo book. And they said that the efficiency of a non-structured interview is 14%. What it means that out of 100 of people that you will hire, only 14 people will fit in and give you good performance. A non-structured interview, that's when they tell you, let's talk about your experience. When you basically don't know who you're looking for. You're just trying to realize whether you like this person or not. And then there are many other distortions when you are making that decision based on God knows what, if you have no metrics for competences. That's why we sat and said, no, we don't like this. Let's think, whom do we want to see in our company? So we prepared the description of our 5 basic values we want to see in every employee. And not just these basic values, but also the ways to verify them, like the questions we will ask them to make sure that this person has all these values. And I will show you very quickly the example of our 5 values. You will have other values, of course, because they are to be in line with your DNA, your company's DNA, or the owners of your company DNA. But this is just the example. So, for example, first value is the locus of the internal control. We're looking for people who know that they are responsible for everything that's happening in their lives, people who are fond of their job, when they find their job to be a reward itself, and then being open to people. So people who are empathetic and who can take a look at this problem with the eyes of other people, then orientation for development, people who want to become a bit better today than they were yesterday, and the ownership way of thinking, who are not waiting for people to tell them what to do, but they just go and do it. And it took us 50 minutes to describe all these values and 2 years to implement this into our recruitment system, when every person had to undergo via this filter. We have 3 interviews, 1 of them on hard skills and 2 on values. The recruiter checks them first, then somebody from top management checks how much this person is in line with our values. And 2 years later, we prepared ENPS as one of the indicators, and 73%. If you understand this, that this was top of the top. It's of what can only be. So we realized that people get into the culture where everyone understands what's good, what's bad, and everyone is on the same vibe. And that is simplifies interaction, makes interaction easier, and as a result leads to high efficiency of the entire team. Summing up, our 3 big mistakes that I have paraphrased as recommendations that could be used for you. So choose big markets where there is money. For global businesses, it's not a whim and not an ambition to make a lot of money, but it's the scenario, top 1 scenario, not an alternative one.
So you have to work on the new market. Second, translate your why, broadcast your why. Each company, if there is a startup of 10 people, you don't need to answer why, because you can talk to the people any moment. But if your team is more than 100 people, you can't talk to everyone. And that means that every person in a company has to somehow know why. And then they will be able to make decisions that will lead the company to success. And thirdly, be conscious about choosing your people. You have to understand who you have the work with, because there are Catholics and there are Protestants. Some people believe that it's good to make good, and some people mean that you have to be doing cheap. Nobody's wrong or right. You have to know who you work with. So thanks a lot for listening.